Welcome to the NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. I'm your host, Coach Uncle Milt. What's up, Joe?
What's going on?
Yeah, we got a lot tonight, man. Our schedule tonight, our guest tonight is kind of full. We got two dynamic guests tonight, but I'm gonna go start off on the basic on what the show is gonna be tonight, because we gonna go into a retro move real quick. We gonna talk. We got a coach coming up here. Got one of the biggest top tournaments in basketball programs in New York City. Is Coach Eric Hicks from Gameover. He's coming on later the hour. Last week it was a lot of chatter on Facebook about my list, my full of blank list. I was spot on with everybody on the full of blank list, and my observation on what I talked about. We're going to go over it a little later on in the next hour. But I got some response back to the Facebook comments from UTL. I don't know why they decided to talk about it on Facebook, but that's what they do. But I'm going to address that a little later. I'm getting back to real youth sports business because my show is irrelevant, and I talk to real people who do real things in youth sports, and we got a dynamic guy over here. He's the voice of tournament basketball, man. And I'm glad to have him, man. I met this young man. I met this gentleman at a tournament that we was doing out in Jamaica, Queens. The Z the Great.
That's right.
Z the Great. Tournaments of Champions. And he taught me some things about announcing. We hear the legendary, the voice of youth basketball tournament is Gumby. I want to say Mr. Gumby, but he's going to get mad and leave my studio. What's up?
Yes. What's going on, everybody? I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. I want to ask you, I'm going to let you, because I call him the Black Mal Alvin, man. He got that voice. And I was sitting next to him while I was listening to him, and he was doing this thing. How did you get into that? Can you tell us your resume on how you got into announcing games?
Well, it started in 1974. That's how way back that goes. In fact, I wasn't even the primary commentator in the King Towers tournament that was ran by Charles Williams. Mm-hmm. In fact, that was something that we tried out. I mean, we had people that would announce scores and everything like that, but we've never had anybody to do play-by-play. Mm-hmm. And I think that gravitated from there, So basically, we've been doing this for over 10 years in that tournament, and it grew throughout the city. And this is why you have commentators from all over. We started it in Harlem back in 1974, running that tournament, the King Towers tournament.
Okay. How old was you back then?
20. Yeah. I was in my early 20s. I was like about, in fact, I was 20, going on 22 years old.
Okay.
And still doing it.
Yeah. And so you guys started the announcement like it's a real
yes.
game.
Yes.
And things.
I watched a lot of Marv Halbert and some other commentators because I'm all about sports, from baseball, football, to basketball. Mm-hmm. But somebody said, they had two other guys, Gerard Garvin and Glenn Jones, and somebody said, no, let the kid, get on the mic, and that was me. I was the third guy on that roster. So ever since then, it kicked off ever since. They said, I like your voice. And this is my regular voice. This is how I talk.
So I want to ask you this, because you're familiar with the tournament uptown, 155th Street.
Yes. Pro Rucker.
Pro Rucker.
I've done a few games.
I was at the era that they had the guys calling different names to the players. And they got that kind of from you guys?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's where it came from.
Oh, that's where
it came from originally here.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, nobody can contest that. I mean, you could write in and blog in or Facebook everywhere in the city. Everybody's going to tell you Gumby and the crew has, we invented that.
Okay.
Giving names like Richie Adams, Boogie, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Corky, you know, the Destroyer, Terminator. We gave them all names.
Yeah. So tell me the famous basketball players you have seen come up and announce their games, like, you know.
Or the announcers. This is what you want.
No, like
or the players.
The players. Like you announced them when they was in, you know, and then they wasn't famous at the time. Then they got famous.
I announced guys that were even came from the tournament and became NBA ball players. Mm-hmm. Kevin Williams, Walter Berry, Ed Pinkney, a whole slew of others. Mm-hmm. You understand? But they came up in the ranks in the Harlem tournaments, and everybody wanted to play in the King Towers tournament. Now Rucker. It was one of the biggest tournaments until we expanded ourselves, you understand, by, you know, everybody, if you played in the dome, which we call it, or the amphitheater, this is before the Kingdom, everybody, we had scouts, college coaches, you understand, you know, scouting most of these ball players. Some of them were the best ball players in the city. And like I said, it grew from there.
Wow. So you've been doing it since 1974.
74.
And you see you retiring, or this is something that...
You know, at one point I was going to give it up, but because instead of like still doing outside games, I had even the pleasure. At one point I was going to retire in 2004, and one of the assistant coaches that was under Coach Robert Holford, that was in the, he was the head coach of Holstrow men's basketball team, and which they call the Caymans. And for a lot of people, there was another guy that was there that couldn't how would you say, to adapt from street ball to collegiate ball. And some people cannot do that because they have to use graphic language and the nicknames. But remember, this is, you know, it's a tournament where it's going to be seen from all throughout the city and collegiate. You understand? A lot of parents will be watching. And Coach Holford gave me a shot, and I was with them ever since for 2 years until they even won the regionals. You understand? The championship. So I was so happy to work with him, and he was giving me the chance. So that made me still continue to thrive on other tournaments and other colleges and doing other things. You understand? Charitable events and whatever.
Did you go to school to learn this?
No.
Strictly?
Just strictly natural.
Working natural.
Just natural. Yeah. A lot of people ask me.
Wow.
A lot of people ask me, well, you had to go to school for that. No, I didn't. That's the way I was brought up. I was taught to talk, you know, in a proper way. You understand? And that's the way it always has been. So, no, I have had no training, didn't have to go to school. Never did television, never did radio. You understand, guys? So you got a radio voice, that's fine, but I enjoy doing what I do.
Have you ever thinking about, let me pass this down to the young generation?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the young generation has, you know, there's a lot more than just me. You know, there's a lot of other people that came up and they worked with me and they strived on. You know, it's a few people. You know, Duke Young, come on.
Yeah.
You know, Duke Tango, Taz.
Yeah.
It's a few other
went
people.
On professionally.
They went beyond
on the collegiate level, maybe.
No. Well, some of them went even to the high street ball. Even some people went to and1, like you know, Tango. You know, I mean, you know, he went to and1, and he came out beautiful. You know, so I mean, there were people right behind me. You know, they followed my footsteps.
Okay.
They went beyond. I didn't, and I just kept doing what I do. You understand?
Okay. Yeah. So tell us about, you know, where they can hear you at the Kingdom and when that tournament's.
Well, I've done the Kingdom for so many years. I think that was my last year doing it. This year I did a few games. Okay. Did a couple of openers, but now we're gonna go and do other projects. You know?
Okay. You got any to tell us now?
Well, it's still in the making. I just don't want to. I just don't want to bust it out at this point.
Yeah, just let us know, man. Come back. Let us know, you know, and anything. Do you have any questions for us?
No. Well, I mean, I am so emphatic right now that it's unbelievable I'm on your show. I heard so much about it. You know,
we're glad to have you. We're glad to have you.
I am so elated that I was asked to be here. And anytime, we could talk about any topic. We talk about the upcoming tournaments. Yeah. The youth movement on violence, on guns, or whatever. We need to address that.
Yes. Because I'm trying to get my feet wet in youth basketball.
Okay.
Because I'm from I came out of the youth football circuit.
Right.
And I'm getting top heavy on that.
Okay.
So it's a youth sports show. So I will be. We're going to sit down and talk.
Right.
Because I wanted to expand.
Right.
The program here, and even give somebody to talk about the basketball tournaments and put you in front of the mic and let you have your own show.
Oh, that'd be grand.
Yeah,
that would definitely be grand.
This is how we build a community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about that off the air at a later date. And,
right.
And because the season is coming up. It starts like the outside tournament season starts like in spring.
Okay.
And then we just start going to them tournaments and talking to people and highlighting the kids and things and put it on the platform.
Again, I'm very grateful and very humble and very honored. If it wasn't for Coach Robert Holford,
yes,
I wouldn't even bumped into you because, like I said, I do anything for him because he throws some great charitable and some beautiful tournaments, and he's not the only. It's not the only time I've done that with him. Yeah. We had the Gender League, and that's how I met Eric Hicks. Yeah. At the Sty Dome, in Brooklyn, and it's a beautiful place, and I've done the game out there.
Yeah, we just want to highlight, give homage, talk about the good, the bad, the win, the loss, the setbacks in youth sports in New York City. Yeah, that's what this show is about. Right. Yeah, we're the first free press in youth sports in the city. You know what I'm saying? So we are totally free. And we are totally independent, so we don't. Oh, you're gonna. We don't have to be.
You will definitely be expanding because they have nothing but tournaments here in New York and with the young youth. So
and I want to bring the highlights on how to help these kids get better in their craft and how to help these kids get better in life.
Well. Before you talk about their talent, they need to have a lesson in life now. Yeah. Because the way things is happening now, this generation is totally they're not going forward. I mean, I can't say all, but you have a majority of them, you understand, with their lives and getting close to their parents and to be more they need to be more involved with them because right now it's a game of, life right now for them. So they're growing up from 8 to 20, and they're not going to even make it to 20 in the way they're driving because basketball is a great tool to keep them off the streets. Yeah.
So youth sports, period.
Yes.
And organized team sports, period, is a good activity to get them, in a different social.
So in other words, bracket. What I feel at this point, your program could open up the doors, you understand? Open up the adults with children to be involved.
Yeah, we try.
And to be very informative with those ideas.
Yeah, we try. We have certain things we do here, and the most important thing, we want to get the story right. Right. We ask all the parties, all the people that's in charge or people that has the story, we get it right and report it. Okay. And that's what we do. But we get ready to go to the break. You want to stick around? We're going to talk to Coach Hicks.
Hey, Gameover. I would be happy to stay.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to the break, and here we are, NYC Youth Sports. See you after the break.
All right.
A community fundraiser. Each of us helps one of us. Think of a community hit with an epidemic that created financial devastation, massive unemployment, housing problems, and food shortages. To help the community to weather the tough times ahead, we must pull our resources together and create a cycle of funding. A one-time resource is help required. Each of us helps one of us with this continuously cycle of support. We'll relieve the burden off of you, the individual, with the help from the community. To join our community, email us at eachofushelpsOneofus@gmail.com. Leave your name and date of birth, and we'll send you the instruction video.
To create a perfect student athlete, you must enhance these attributes: mind, body, and soul. In other words, education, fitness, and nutrition must be a part of your life. And it starts right here at the New York City Youth Sports Initiative.
Here's 5 ways to support NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. 1. Push the subscribe button, like it, and leave a comment. 2. Donation. What you can. It will be appreciated. 3. Promote what you're doing or your kid's achievement in youth sports with our $10 on-the-screen ad spot. $10 per show or $30 a month. 4. Share this podcast show with others on social media. 5. Buy our show's apparel on Amazon.com. Thank you for your participation.
NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. Like I say, I started out saying this, man, we a real sports show. We talk about real things. We talk to people, real people who do real things in youth sports. And we got one more here. Coach Eric Hicks, one of the biggest tournaments, one of the biggest tournament programs, basketball programs in New York City, Gameover. And I'm bringing you the president, Coach Eric Hicks. How you doing, Coach?
All is good, man. How are you? Good to be here.
I'm good. You know, I'm hanging in there. I'm glad you graced us with your presence. Appreciate it. Showing up on our show.
I respect the platform, man. I'm honored you have me on.
Yeah, I'm trying. Coach, I want you to take a moment and give us a resume about yourself. How did you start? Because we talked briefly on the phone. You know, you played some college. Can you just tell us your resume on you?
Born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. In fact, in Harlem, I grew up right across the street from the famed Rucker Park.
Wow.
Diagonally across the street, there's a little project complex there called Colonial Projects. Mm-hmm. And that's where I grew up. And that was the first 10 years of my life, man. I don't think I ever picked up a basketball not one time. Never went to that park. That was my school that I went to, but just had totally no interest. But when I moved up to Co-op City in the Bronx, there was no place, nothing else to do but play basketball and hockey. Mm-hmm. All right, white kids played hockey, the black kids played basketball, and one of us did both, which was kind of strange. Mm-hmm. And I still get teased about to this day. Mm-hmm. But, and then, just played every day, fell in love with the game. The same story as a lot of us New Yorkers grew up in a time when the Knicks were pretty good, so I was...
That must be back in the 70s, Coach. I go way back then.
They were pretty good in the 90s, too.
I wanted to be Walt Frazier, man.
There you go. You look like him, too, in some ways. You do.
Yeah. I used to sneak in the garden and all that kind of stuff as a kid, and I remember the first time I touched Earl Monroe hand, and wow. That was like magic. I was into the Harlem Globetrotters and things like. Now I even played riding a unicycle. I was one of those kids, riding a unicycle, playing basketball, headed for that Ringley Brothers and Bonham and Bailey team. My tryout and all of that stuff, which came right about the time I went to college. But went to Truman High School, got cut.
Wow.
And that was a devastating experience. I remember crying like a baby.
Coach, you got cut your first, freshman?
Okay, so check this out. Co-op City, you know how big Co-op City
Yeah,
is, right?
yes.
So when Truman opened up, and they had a basketball tryout, the line literally down the street. All of us there with the same dreams, not knowing at that time how political and how being connected is everything. So you had guys that the coach knew, they knew their fathers, they knew this, they knew that, they had legacies. I was just a kid, man, in the park making it up. Single parent. My mom's raising her, she didn't know nothing about basketball. She just knew that for Christmas and my birthday, all she had to do was get me a pair of sneakers and basketball. I ain't want nothing else. That was it. And I used to sneak out to play. The stories of me playing in Co-op City are just crazy. Every day, 6 o'clock in the morning, running the stairs. We used to live on the 21st floor. I used to run those stairs twice a day, man. Wow. It was just crazy.
You was mad dedicated to that.
Yeah. I was addicted, man. I wound up playing for a Jewish community center where the coach there. He taught me a lot about the game and played point guard all my life. The next thing you know, I'm going to some school that I never even heard of because I didn't do my due diligence. And college basketball was nothing to us in New York. It was all about professional basketball. Okay. I wound up in this school called St. Bonaventure University. I had never heard of it.
Say that again, St. Bonaventure's?
St. Bonaventure University.
Yes, my granddaughter goes to that school now.
Okay.
Yes.
So Division I school, right?
Yes.
We didn't know nothing about Division I, Division II. I figured, okay, I'm gonna go. They're gonna see I can play and this, that, and I'm gonna wind up on a team.
Well, they always had a good program, a good ball program.
Yeah.
The year that I went there was the year after they won the NIT, which at that time the NIT was the #1 tournament in the country. It was
before the Big East and all that. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah. That is
correct.
correct.
They won the NIT. So I walked onto a campus into a whirlwind. Ticker tape parade and everything. These guys were like celebrities and stars, and I'm shell-shocked. I'm just shell-shocked. I had never seen the school, didn't know nothing about it. The only reason why I had heard of it is because they won the NIT in New York City.
That's right.
Other than that, I didn't know anything about it.
That's right.
So I go into the gym. I'm gonna make this story quick. I go into the gym on the first day I'm there, and I'm playing with these dudes. I'm like, yo, I'm doing pretty good with these dudes. I'm holding my. Matter of fact, I'm killing them. And I go up to one and I go, what year are you? He's about 6'4". He looks down, freshman. Another one, 6'8". What year are you? Freshman. All of these dudes, they're huge. I'm 5'9", 140 pounds. And these dudes, I'm like, and they're all like, they go to math. They go to the best schools, high schools, because they, St. Bonaventure had the best recruiting year that year because they won the NIT.
Yeah.
So, they're all coming in here, they're all stars and everything. So, that night, I went to my room. I was like, "This ain't gonna happen. Look at these dudes."
But wait a minute, Coach.
Upperclassmen weren't even there yet.
Wait a minute, Coach. Wait one minute. You was recruited?
No.
You wasn't recruited. You walked on.
I walked on, man.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So first of all, back then there was a rule that everybody you had to play freshman. You couldn't play 4 years. But that rule had just disappeared like 2 years before that. But they were still making the varsity players, the freshmen, play JV and varsity. They recruited 4 freshmen, 4 of the top freshmen in the country went there. And they had me. I was starting with these 4 freshmen on the JV. And it was like, I went from literally playing in the parks at Co-op City.
Right.
Basketball was sick up there when you go to them small towns.
Yeah.
The games are all sold out. And if a game is at 7 o'clock, the arena's packed by 5. Well, who's on the court at 5 o'clock? The JV. And here I am. I go from Co-op City, the parks in Co-op City,
Big
to now playing in front of 6, 7, 8,000 people.
Wow.
Even my name and everything. The first time I had like a legit uniform.
Wow.
One other than the one that I had at the Jewish Community Center. And then before that, everything was like citywide, this, that, the other. It was T-shirts.
Coach, that must have blew your mind. That must have blew your mind.
First time I stepped on the court, I couldn't even feel my legs, man.
Oh yeah, that was nerves.
Fans was yelling, "We won Hicks! We won Hicks!" And I mean, it was just a crazy, crazy experience. Wow. And then you're walking around campus like a celebrity. That was when I was on the JV.
JV, wow.
Then a player gets hurt. And I believe my sophomore year player gets hurt by the name of Lacey Fulmer, the basis for something. Coach calls me up and asks me, now, the team practice, we weren't allowed in the varsity practices, but I used to sneak in the gym hour before practice, go up to the top of the stadium and lay flat on my stomach and watch every practice, because everybody on the team was my boys, but I wasn't on the team. So I watched every practice. 2 years into it, the coach calls me in and says, Lacey broke his foot, Can you, we want you to come practice with your team, play point. You're not going to get any playing time. You're not going to get a uniform. Basically, I was going to be a practice player. And I go out there, man, because I had watched every practice. Right. I knew the plays.
Yeah, you snuck in there laying on your stomach, of course.
Yeah, well, you know the plays. Let me tell you something, man. You jump in the passing lanes. Right. Because you know where the ball's going. I'm cheating and this, that, and then I'm running the offense. With the first day I'm running the offense.
But listen to this. Listen to this, kids. Listen to this. This is a testimony right here.
This is the determination.
Yes, he sat there, learned,
he had
took his opportunity when it came.
Not only he was addicted to the game, he was OD, and he really wanted to get in there.
He walked on, right? Yeah. This is a testimony. He walked on.
I mean, to make, didn't get a lot of playing time away. But my victory, and I say, this is, when we really get to the heart of our conversation about game over basketball. Yeah. Everybody's scorebook of success in this game is different. Mm-hmm. People go, you didn't play it. Man, come on. I went from the park to Division I University, flying in jet planes and hotels. Everything was first class. First class. It was. I went from the parks of Clark City, and then 2 years later, I'm signing autographs because I'm walking through the mall. Right. Because when you go to a small town, they don't care you the first on the team, the third, the last, whatever. You got that uniform on, you a star. I'm getting invited to birthday parties and people's houses for dinner. And like I said, we walking through the mall and see the players were a little snobby. Some of them, and they wouldn't sign the autographs. I signed every autograph because I said, this is crazy. Wow. And you never know. Somebody may not want my autograph. So it was a great experience. And as I look back on it, I was a little crazy, I guess, but I handled my books. I had a great experience up at St. Bonaventure University. Did what I had to do, graduated with a degree in business and pre-law. Right. And, there was the things that I lean on today. But the main thing of this story is that same determination and that same grit. And that same, making sure that I got my dream, making it happen, and being prepared when the opportunity came, is the same thing that has driven me in business for the last 24 years. And creating this company, Gameover, and being able to survive and doing crazy things to survive in the business. So.
This right here.
Coach, can I ask a question, Coach? I've known you for over almost 10 years, and how we connected because the gender tournament that was in your gym, which I adore your program that you have, and that's how we connected, and I worked with you one night. I have never seen a person that was so focused and together with a bunch of kids, you understand, that looked up to you, and they still look up to you to this day, and how you helped them. How you ran the tournament. You ran it like an oiled machine. You couldn't tell me that you didn't know your game, you understand, besides running the program, you understand. And ever since I done that game, you understand, I've always wanted to come back. You know that. You know that.
Absolutely. Yeah. COVID changed everything, but we're starting to get our wings back up and starting to fly again over there. We have a beautiful facility over there in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Yes.
Well, we're going to get into that. I'm going to set that up. We're going to get into that. But I want to, let's take a little break. We'll be back. And we're going to talk about how you started Gameover and get into the facility. And then we're going to get into Brooklyn. We're going to get into all of that, Coach. We'll be back off the break with Coach Hicks.
All right, we'll be back.
A community fundraiser. Each of us helps one of us. Think of a community hit with an epidemic that created financial devastation, massive unemployment, housing problems, and food shortages. To help the community to weather the tough times ahead, we must pull our resources together and create a cycle of funding A one-time resource is help required. Each of us helps one of us with this continuously cycle of support. We'll relieve the burden off of you, the individual, with the help from the community. To join our community, email us at eachofushelpsoneofus@gmail.com. Leave your name and date of birth, and we'll send you the instruction video.
To create a perfect student athlete, you must enhance these attributes: mind, body, and soul. In other words, education, fitness, and nutrition must be a part of your life. And it starts right here at the New York City Youth Sports Initiative.
Here's 5 ways to support NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. 1. Push the subscribe button, like it, and leave a comment. 2. Donation. What you can. It will be appreciated. 3. Promote what you're doing or your kid's achievement in youth sports with our $10 on-the-screen ad spot. $10 per show or $30 a month. 4. Share this podcast show with others on social media. 5. Buy our show's apparel on Amazon.com. Thank you for your participation.
We're back, NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. We're here in the studio with Gumby and Coach Hicks from Gameover. My question to you, Coach, is that after college, what made you turn into, when you started coaching, or what was the next step, and what made you get into the youth sports basketball program?
Well, yeah, it's funny because I never really wanted to coach because I was still playing. And I was playing everywhere, everywhere we were playing. But I didn't really want to coach, and then I got a chance at that same Jewish Community Center that I started out and I got asked to coach. I believe it was the JV team or the varsity team there. And, I kind of liked it, and then I burnt me out, and then I moved to Queens. And when I moved to Queens, it was an AAU program out here, the Long Island Panthers. Right? So I really never heard of it, but a gentleman called me up. He had heard that I was in town, and was like, "I want you to come over and coach the Long Island Panthers." And I went over there and I said, "I'm really not into coaching anymore. Blah blah blah. I'm still trying to play and this, that, and the other." And he, but they had these young players, man, like Lamar Odom and Ron Artest, and who I didn't know any of these kids at the time. I mean, there was a whole array of talent in this gym, and I was like, oh my God. And so I wound up coaching the 16 and under team there, and assistant coaching with the varsity there, and just got kind of hooked with that. And it was a really, really great ride. I got to see all of these young players, really come up from the beginning. And some of them you could tell they were going to be stars, and some of them you could tell were going to have problems, and some of them you knew were just going to outwork everybody else and surprise you. And that was a kid by the name of Royal Ivey, who's now the assistant coach of the Brooklyn Nets, played 10 years in the NBA, wound up going to the University of Texas and played backcourt with, what's the little dude's name? Ford, I think his last name. TJ Ford, yes. And I really always, I was reluctant when it was time to come coach, but when I got in there, as us coaches, man, we give our heart and soul, we feed kids, we drive them around, we get them out of trouble, we lending them money, we doing whatever, and, and sometimes the parents see you as a babysitting service and they just come off, whatever. But the thing for me, and it's always been for me, is that the life that I have directly correlates to what I did in basketball. And the determination and things that we talked about earlier, these are the things I wanted the kids to get out of it. I never said, oh, you're going to be in the NBA, this, that, and the other. I don't believe that. I don't sell hope dreams. you're supposed to work hard at this because this is what you say you love to do. And if you're not going to work hard at this, then what are you going to work hard at? And hopefully you find something in your life that you like with the same amount of passion and apply all of the things that we teach you as coaches, and we should be teaching you as coaches, and apply them to your everyday life and your business life. And I find it kind of sad that a lot of times that doesn't happen. We focus in on just the basketball aspect of it.
Excuse me, Coach, not to break into, but basketball has been very good to you, and what you contribute to the game and your outreach to even the youngsters is very overwhelming, and I commend you for that.
Well, I just have to say, it's been very good to me, but it also, it could have been a trap because I was falling into the trap. I was playing like in a little middle school rec thing 3 days a week.
Right.
And if I lost on Monday, I was a mess all week, man. And these were games that didn't mean nothing. Nobody wanted an empty little gym with 12 people. And, but that's that kind of passion. I feel like I couldn't focus in on my business. So, but then I realized when I can find something that I'm passionate about, as much as I'm passionate about this game, I'm going to be successful. But guess what happened? It was staying in the game itself. It was learning the business of sports, learning the business of basketball. Yeah, we coach kids and we train kids, this, that, and the other. Right. But we do so much more. I produce sports-related television. Right. I did a 26-episode show for the MSG Network, self-taught. We make basketballs, we make uniforms. We've sold in Models, Foot Locker, Dr. J, we sold all over the place. Wow. Macy's, Sears, and we still sell it. Now we have this facility in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, which was basically given to us.
I must say it's a beautiful place too. I've been there.
And magic comes out of there. When I say magic, I mean we do wonderful things with basketball. But now we got kids. We've been there long enough now. Our first generation kids are coming back, graduating from college. Cool. Whether they play ball or not, a lot of them play. Right. But whether they play or not, they're coming back from college and they're giving back. And they come by and say hello. They come by and help. Tomorrow we're giving out food at 9:00 in the morning. Troop in Lafayette will be out there giving out free food.
But that comes from your teaching, though. That comes a lot from your teaching.
How many kids you have in your program in Brooklyn?
Wow, I would say close because they rotate in and out.
In the ages.
Yeah, we started as young as 5 years old.
Okay.
All right, we started as young as 5. We've had him even younger than that, believe it or not. And he's a phenom, and you'll be hearing a lot about this kid. But he's about 7 now. We've had him since he was 2.5.
2?
But, oh my goodness, 2.5.
He's bouncing the ball at 2.
Wow. Full court at a full sprint, bouncing basketball, 2.5 years old. I couldn't believe it. It was one of my friends, you know how dads, you got to see my son, I done heard this a million times. Yeah. I'm sure your son is good. But
I want to ask you this here, is that tell us about the program. You come in at 5, and when you leave this program, what is the tools that's being passed down to you? When you leave this program at what, 17 or 18 or I wonder.
Yeah, we don't ever send anybody away. But normally around 16, 17, they go because they go off to school and do other things. I mean, basically you're gonna learn the fundamentals of basketball, and we break it down. We don't just roll the ball out and say play. It's not open gym. It's all instructional. And I bring some of the best people that we have in this city to coach. There's a gentleman by the name of Ted Gustis, who's a legendary coach out there in Brooklyn. He coached Rolando Blackman and John Sally, and by the way, Rolando Blackman and John Sally both come to the gym to speak to the kids. He even coached Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has been there several times to speak to the kids. Ray Haskins, who's the coach that took LIU to the NCAAs. Matter of fact, Ray Haskins gave me my first break. When they went to the NCAA, one of the set of uniforms that they wore were Gameover uniforms, because that's what the players wanted. Where everybody else was wearing Reebok and Nike or whatever, they were bold enough to go out there and wear Gameover uniforms.
Okay.
So Charles Jones, who played on that famous LIU team, Dana Dingle, who's not only a tremendous player, went to the Final Four with Marcus Camby, and that team at UMass, but has his own program, but he comes and helps, he's helped us with the kids. We run clinics and tournaments and things like that together. The kids will learn the fundamentals of basketball They will learn how to shoot, pass, dribble, play defense, and run an offense, and an offensive structure. It's not just clear it out and go one-on-one. We know that stuff is popular. That's what makes the little 1-minute Instagram videos, but that's not basketball.
That's the teaching of basics. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Yes, but the other thing that they're going to learn is respect and working hard and keeping your word and speaking up when somebody's speaking to you and shaking hands and saying good morning when you walk into that building.
And that's on and off the court. There you go.
On and off, yeah. These are the things that they take off the court. The people cannot believe how well behaved our kids are.
Right.
And it's because we have a zero tolerance. My business is not training kids in basketball camps.
No, because you teach them structure. You teach them things for life.
Right. But when we sell trophies and apparel and this, that, and the other, I do this because we saw that there was a need. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it my way, basically.
Yeah, that's...
And my way is, learning more than just basketball. Because if you're a good basketball player and you got a bad attitude, or you don't play hard, or you don't put out 100%, you're not going to make it. There's too many kids out here that want to play this game that'll run face first into a brick wall for you to be cool.
Yeah, and you the testimony of it. You were seated on the unbelievable. You walked in on a D1 school and you made something happen. So your experience is incredible. So kids should listen, because in this world right now where we at with these social media and everything, and everybody feels that we can just say it and it happens. It's supposed to happen without the work. And these kids got to understand that you have to work, and setbacks are part of working. Setbacks are part of working. It's not over.
You never, when you're around kids and you're around, especially our kids and our black young men and women, you never know who's looking at you. You never know who's watching. So sometimes you have to, not sometimes, well, all the time. Inspiring by example.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because now it happens for me in Gameover. I took 2 words, man, and turned it into a business. And it's basically to just show anybody that you can do this. You can do this. I mean, as I say, my stuff has sold in Foot Locker, sold in hotels, it's sold all over. This, for me, it was mind blowing. It was 2 words in a logo. That guy behind me with the ball in one hand and the rim in the other. Yeah. I mean, we turned that into an icon that is recognized, maybe not all over the world, but in a whole lot of places, as a symbol of victory. And it was very important for me to take that figure, our Gameover trophy, which we created as our logo,
and still growing. And
put a black man on the basketball team. The crazy is that we can play for 30 years and never get a black man on a trophy in a game that we dominated. Right? So I said, if I don't do anything else, I'm going to put a black man on a trophy. So 15 years ago, we created that Gameover trophy, and we've sold thousands, tens of thousands all over the world.
Wow.
And, and that's the symbol of victory for us. And just to turn on Gameover, when we used to play in the park, the guy that hit the last shot said, game over. It just was a natural thing. Bam, game over, bam. And it's just a natural thing. So I had learned about trademarks and copyrights and everything like that. And that's from the law background and another company that I had, which I got ripped off from, which there's one thing about us as small businesses, people steal from us, man. The biggest companies in the world steal. I got a million stories. Where you see something on TV or you'll see something, I mean, they stole that from me. And it's not even hidden. I'll go in the office and have a meeting with somebody and they'll say, yeah, we like that, we're going to do that. And the next thing you know, they're doing it without you. And that's happened several times. But we keep going. We keep going because when you're creative, the more they steal, the more you create. I mean, you're never going to stop us. Yeah. When we have to inspire, I may not be the next Nike, but some little kid watching may be.
Yeah. And you showing them the way. You're showing them the way that if you patient and you care and you put work into your brand, it will happen. I asked a lot of coaches this, and you'll be an expert in me just hearing your opinion about this. How you feel about reclass?
All right, so I think that's ridiculous. But this is the deal. It's almost to me like steroids. All right? There was a time when steroids were prevalent in college football.
That's right.
And in professional football. And if you didn't take steroids, you were going to get hurt. Because these dudes were bigger, stronger, and faster because they were cheaper.
That's right.
And now, when you look at reclassing, I mean, you 18 years old, man, you beating up on 15-year-olds. So you really nice? I don't know. But if everybody's doing it, your little 15-year-old, your little 14-year-old might get hurt. Because now you're playing against guys that are like, you know, these dudes got beards in high school now. You know, they got full beards. So it's kind of crazy.
They look older than me. You're right.
I don't like it, but now, playing against men. I don't like it. Yeah. I can kind of understand it, so I understand the press group thing.
But
you know?
This is the thing. When you, like, I think in some cases maybe, but this shouldn't be the standard. It's like we see things, right? And it's like, oh, they did it. Oh, let me do it. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not for everybody, because just like you said, no one's thinking about the kids that's coming up. They have the right to play on a fair playing field. On a you know what I'm saying? You just took the right of a kid.
They got a right to play against other 15-year-olds.
Yeah, but they're not thinking. They're thinking it's a little bit selfish. But you know, you're not thinking like, that could have been me at 15.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what the deal is?
Yeah.
Money changes everything. Money. As soon as you start paying guys $27 million a year,
there you go.
When any 20 black families is not going to make $27 million in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the most case, I mean, it just changes things, and people and parents do whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the game. I hate to talk bad about the game because it's been so good to me, but the game has gotten corrupt in a whole lot of ways, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on, and money does that. And money, and it's unbelievable money. It's money we can't even imagine.
But this is part of what this platform is, and a lot of people kind of, you know, don't like it because we can't just talk about the wins. We got to talk about the losses. We got to talk about the achievement and the setbacks and the holes. We have to be informative. You know what I'm saying? And I like to bring on guests who's informative. So we know you are an ancestral story in youth basketball. The next person come up, you tell them you don't have to cheat. I didn't cheat. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to.
And you
have to let the people know.
It doesn't work. And let me tell you why. Because the percentages don't change. 97% of the kids, when they take off their high school uniform, will never put on another uniform again.
Yeah. Right.
That means if we base our success, if everything is based on being a Division I player or being a Division II player or making it to the NBA, we are teaching failure.
Yes.
7% are not going to do it.
Excuse me, can I intervene on this one? And you're correct with that, Eric, because, again, once they take off that uniform after high school, you know, again, everybody has those big dreams. Oh, I'm going to make it to the NBA. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Money's flowing in and out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, money has corrupted the game. I don't care how many people, like Eric himself, myself, yourself, you understand? We can talk this blue in the face, but it has its evils too. You understand what I'm saying? It has its evil. In fact, once they leave the game, what can we do to prepare them for life? You understand? Basketball, everybody doesn't make it to the NBA, okay? If I'm correct with that. Only a very small percentage. You feel me? So, again, you understand, your basketball is not only taught about the game, but it prepares you for life. Now, the way you're doing it, you understand, you're teaching them how to be mannerable, learning how to respect each other, you understand, and how to prepare for life. Now, because once the basketball is gone, you understand what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from with that, Eric?
The game is over. And that's what the company's about. Game over. When the game is over, what are you going to do? Because, in our place, we teach them how to use video camera.
Yeah.
They run that facility. The kids run my facility. I mean, when I say kids, they're between 17 and 20. They run my facility. I couldn't do it without them. They're very responsible. My place is packed right now. You know, I'm here in Queens on this chat with you guys. But these kids, you know, our kids have so much potential, but we can't focus it all on just basketball.
Thank you.
Basketball has to be used as a means to teach
so
and to train. And you know the thing that bothers me the most, and this is going to be kind of controversial because these are my friends.
No, go ahead.
When a parent says to me, "You better get a scholarship if you want to go to college."
That's what I'm about to come up tell you.
Oh man,
that's about this.
Maybe you shouldn't have had no kids. Why are you going to turn a sport into a job? Why are you going to turn something that's supposed to be fun into a job for a kid 5 years old?
There you go.
If you don't yell at him and make him do 50 push-ups when he spells the word wrong, why are you going to yell at him when he misses a letter?
Yeah.
I don't say don't yell at him when he misses a letter, but yell at him when he spells it with a math problem wrong. Or not even yell at him.
The game is not fun anymore. There you go.
The thing is this, Coach. The thing is this. This is why I stay at the youth level, because the kids are innocent and they listen to you, and they, and then you don't have to deal with these parents that you try to keep them grounded. The idea for the kid, if you can get him in a college program, how many college basketball programs is in the country? And it's probably thousands of them, right?
Not tens of thousands.
Yeah, so if you can get your kid into a basketball program in college for free, thank you, Jesus. The rest is up to him.
Right.
The rest is up to him.
But make sure that that's what your kid wants.
Exactly.
And it's not what you want because maybe you fell short.
No, what I'm saying that you have to utilize this. And listen, my thing as a parent is to get you the best education that you can. You decide you want to play basketball. You're pretty good. Is you good to get to the next level to play college? I don't care if it's D1, D2. I don't care where's it at. Are you good to get to the level to get an education? That's the key.
That can happen, absolutely. But I'll tell you two things on that. I was in Co-op City in the Bronx, and I know we'll talk about this later. And the park, we had this program here. Park is packed. We must have had 200 kids out there. And I'm looking, and I said to myself, you know what? I bet you the cure for cancer is in one of these kids' brains. I said it to somebody.
Yeah.
And he goes, really? I go, yeah, I bet you it's in one of his brains. But it's never going to come out. He goes, why? Because we're too worried about if they can make a laugh. And not emphasizing the other things. Now, when I went to State Bonaventure University, I was a Regent Scholarship winner.
Yes.
So I was getting some money. Regent Scholarship winner was a big thing back then. So I was getting some money. So there's ways to get to school. Yes, basketball is one of them. But we got brains too.
Yeah.
We got brains. And if we were pushing kids to be, I tell my kids, I want you to be a basketball player. I want you to be a lawyer with the baddest jump shot. I want you to be a highest flying doctor so that you can say, okay, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to play basketball no more. I'm going to practice medicine.
But this is the thing, Coach. This is the thing. And I base your story in the way you got to St. Bonaventure, right? You wanted to play basketball, right? But when you got to that school, you left that school with a degree and a career. Basketball didn't work out, but guess what? Look at you here. Your testimony. This is the story that gotta be told to kids.
Okay, I want to correct one thing that you said though.
Yeah.
Basketball did work out, and it's still working out, and that's
No. I'm sorry. I mean that you wanted to play. You wanted to play. That's what I meant. No, that's what I meant. You wanted to play.
Yeah,
I didn't mean didn't work out. It worked for you.
Yeah.
But
and
you.
that's what the kids have to see.
And this is what
I'm in basketball forever. There are people getting rich that own stadiums, that own the concession stands in stadiums, that own the food trucks that deliver to the stadiums. They making a fortune. The guy that designs the stadiums and the arenas, they're making a fortune. The guy that promotes the game, the guy that does what you guys do on that other level, they get paid to do that.
It's other things.
What has to happen is some of us got to get through the door and then let the others in.
Yeah.
Because they only going to let us go but so far.
Yeah.
We got to get in those positions that are decision-making positions
Right.
in these various industries and let people in. Because the rich white kid in the suburbs, they dreaming about being a basketball player sometimes till they're 16.
That's right.
And then they jumping in their daddy's Mercedes and going off to their business, to their factory, to their warehouse, this, that, and the other, and they're sitting in the front row.
And that's the whole nutshell right there, because like you said, that big dream after 15 or 16, now it's about other businesses. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their focus is not, I'm going to make the team, and that's their drive, because again, they're being prepared by their parents. So if you can't make basketball, but this is what you can do in the basketball world.
My gym,
You understand?
my gym is full of 35-year-old guys.
Go ahead.
I still think they got a shot.
Yeah. But what you do, what you do in your
an open gym?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that.
Yeah, what you do in your program, just like you said, you got guys on the camera, you got guys doing other things in the production of putting together a program, a tournament. You're teaching them on the ground level on how to do it. Now they got to take it to the next level. They got to go to school and learn, and you know what I'm saying, and take it and give it to next people. Malcolm always said, "Each one teach one." So you're doing it. You're doing it. We're doing it at the podcast show. Gumby is doing it. In his announcement, we just got to spread it from the grassroots up, and hoping they say, "Okay, let me take it to the next level," because it's the future that's going to help us. That's going to put us over. Because they already got it set up already that they don't have to worry about. You're gonna have to really try hard and get past these dilemmas we having. You know what I'm saying? And
You're right.
stand out.
There are certain things that are facts.
Yeah.
And facts right now. Prisons are being built right now. Brand new prisons are being built right now. Who else prisons for? They know by the zip code. They know by the zip code where they're getting their inmates from. And they're not building prisons if they think they're gonna be empty.
Nah.
They're building prisons on other people's tragedies or the other people's miseries, and that's money. You understand?
My job is to make sure that there's traps out here.
That's right.
You're not gonna fall into these traps. We're gonna use this game to teach you how to avoid these traps.
Exactly.
One thing I know is you're safe.
Right.
Your parents don't have to worry about you when you're in our building, you're in our program. You are safe.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want you
And you're learning something.
Yeah, I want you to take this time out to tell us about how to get into your program, where to go, what to do, and when your next event is coming up and everything, and then we're gonna cut you loose because you're busy.
All right, okay.
Yeah. All right. So take this time out. How can they get into your program? Where to go? What's coming up next and everything? And
all right, so we're there every weekend at the Brooklyn Sky Dome. That's 312 Cassiasco. But you can go to GameoverNYC.com. GameoverNYC.com, and you'll be able to register for any of our programs there for the kids. As far as up in the Bronx and Co-op City, I know you didn't get to show the picture, but my life came full circle when we renovated those playgrounds in Co-op City. I got a call.
Beautiful job. It's a beautiful job.
And, people asked if we could help them renovate the park there, and I said, "Oh, that's what we do." And next thing you know, I'm out there with tape measures and cement trucks and you name it. Yeah, and Gameover got to the point where we renovated 5 basketball courts in Co-op City. I say that to say is this year we did camp out there, 8 weeks camp, which 8 weeks course of rain, but it was 3 weeks of pure fundamentals of basketball. Offense and defense and dribbling and shooting, but just breaking it down. Then we had a draft, and it was 3 weeks of competition. So it was basically a summer-long basketball combine in that park that we talked about earlier. And we'll be doing that again. Once again, GameOverNYC.com. Instagram is official GameOverNYC. And you can really keep up with us on Instagram and see what we're doing. On the 23rd, we've got a 3-on-3 tournament for Unlimited Division. And our 3-on-3 tournament is a little different. It's a game called Trade 21. Trade 21 starts out 3-on-3, then you take one player off. Both teams take a player off simultaneously. Neither team knows who's coming off. Then the 2 that are left play 2-on-2. Then after 7 minutes, the player that got taken off comes back and has to bring it home playing one-on-one. So it's 3, 2, 1, trade 21. And it's exciting. We have entertainment, it's cash prize, money, one thing in there, and this is one of the rules that we have. You hit an NBA three-pointer, it's only worth 2 points, but you can add that 2 to your score, or you can take 2 away from the other team.
Coach,
So,
as you're speaking about your program, people at home, they don't even see what we're seeing with your program, with the, the courts.
They see it.
And, they do.
Yeah,
okay, and that indoor court, the Sky Dome, which I've even been there. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It is really beautiful. You really put your heart into that.
May I ask you the courts up in Co-op City? How was it funded? It was private funded or?
that was, Co-op City, was like a private development. So they were able to get money, I guess it was from, they got money, that was part of it, and then they were able to get money from some type of grant.
Okay.
And then somebody that I grew up with, who played basketball, when we played against each other in Co-op City, he's the manager of Co-op City. And he goes, "You're the only guy I know in basketball. What are we going to do with these courts? Because the courts were a mess. Grounds were cracked, the backboards were a mess, the 10 backboards. We went there, we put fiberglass backboards, breakaway rims in every park. We designed the layout of the park. We got pro-size courts, high school-size courts, college-size courts.
Wow.
There.
It's beautiful.
It really is a beautiful thing out there. Probably the fact that that's where I got my start as a player, and my life came full circle to come back and be able to do that for the kids there, and then have a program out there for them too. Really, it's like
amazing.
What's next? Is there anything else? But that really, I see as one of the pinnacles, highlights, however you want to say it, of what we have achieved as a company. That started as a dream in a bedroom in Co-op City, in my little room there.
Like I was saying, Coach, we have a Facebook group called NY number 4 for NY, and just post whatever's going on in New York City, New York State, and the county of New York on that site. We also going to create a youth sports coalition. My main goal is to do these parks in New York City, in the county, do these parks, because there's a lot of parks that's not being used. We need to come up with a plan to re-renovate them, to make basketball courts, to make football and track and soccer. It's a lot of fields that just sitting, not doing anything, and they need to be redone to accommodate the youth sports in the community. And to see something like that in Co-op City, man, when you send your kid down there, you know it's gonna be safe. It's gonna be, you don't have to worry about them getting people hanging around and him getting into the wrong thing. And it's beautiful.
This is New York in general. There's some great mentors out there. There's some great mentors out there that have a lot of knowledge. They just need that platform. And just like you say, the parks, the football coaches, the basketball coaches, the track coaches, there's a lot of guys. Because when we did out there in Co-op City, former college players, even Rod Strickland came out there one day. Former college and pro players came out there, and there's a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge that they can give to these kids, but they need a place to do it. They need an organized, structured, clean, safe environment.
To do what they got to do. And I'm hoping we start this coalition with your help too, and we start redoing these parks in these neighborhoods so they can have the support and the tool to bring kids together in youth sports. But with that said, thank you, Coach, for having you coming on the show, man. Invite us to we be out there. Invite us to
Everything.
The everything. I'll be out there. Everything. NYC Youth Sports will be out there. So I appreciate you, Coach. I appreciate you. We're gonna go to the break.
Thank you for having me, man. I would say thank you for having me. Much respect for your platform, baby. Keep going.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
Coach,
you.
See you soon.
Okay. We're gonna go to the break, and then we're gonna come back. We gotta do some little football, and we out of here.
A community fundraiser. Each of us helps one of us. Think of a community hit with an epidemic that created financial devastation, massive unemployment, housing problems, and food shortages. To help the community to weather the tough times ahead, we must pull our resources together and create a cycle of funding. A one-time resource is help required. Each of us helps one of us with this continuously cycle of support. We'll relieve the burden off of you, the individual, with the help from the community. To join our community, email us at eachofushelpsoneofus@gmail.com. Leave your name and date of birth, and we'll send you the instruction video.
To create a perfect student athlete, you must enhance these attributes: mind, body, and soul. In other words, education, fitness, and nutrition must be a part of your life. And it starts right here at the New York City Youth Sports Initiative.
Here's 5 ways to support NYC Youth Sports Podcast Show. 1. Push the subscribe button, like it, and leave a comment. 2. Donation. What you can. It will be appreciated. 3. Promote what you're doing or your kid's achievement in youth sports with our $10 on-the-screen ad spot. $10 per show or $30 a month. 4. Share this podcast show with others on social media. 5. Buy our show's apparel on Amazon.com. Thank you for your participation.
NYC Youth Sport, we back, man. We had a great interview with Coach Hicks and Coach Gumby, man. And, you know, just like on this platform, we're going to be doing a lot of youth sports topics, basketball. We're going to be making connections with soccer and track and girls track. So that's coming up in the later months. But we were expanding our basketball talk into youth basketball, and that's it. But getting back to youth football. There was some games this week, and I want to shout out to Coach Garvin and for the New York League, and the commissioner rather for the New York League, and shout out to Tyrone Franklin for bringing us the scores and everything this week, and we're gonna try to get it out starting with the New York League. Saturday game on the 2nd of October is at the Pee Wee Division. The Brooklyn Skyhawks 6, Kings Bay Panthers 0. The next game was the Queens Falcons 0 and the Springfield Rifles 28. Sunday game, the Bayside Raiders was 0 and the Bronx Knights was 20. That was the Sunday game at the Pee Wee Peanut Division. At the Junior Pee Wee Division, 2 games was Saturday and Sunday this weekend. Last weekend passed. The Brooklyn Skyhawks 0, Springfield Rifles 30. The game Sunday was the LBX Empire. LBS Empire against the Bronx Knights 32. So the Empire was 0. The Bronx Knights was 32. At the Pee Wee Division. It was 2 games Saturday and 2 games Sunday. Greenpoint Spartans 0, the Bronx Knights 18. I keep calling them B. LBX Pioneer. LBX Empire against 0 and the Brooklyn Panthers 16. Brooklyn Skyhawks 46 and the King Bay Cougars 0. The Queens Falcons 46, wow. and Bayside Raiders 0. Whoa. There was some games, man, at the Pee Wee division. Banter division, it was 4 games this weekend, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. The Empire, 22. The Brooklyn Panthers, 32. The Brooklyn Panthers, 32. The Bronx Knights, 6. And the Greenpoint Spartans, 20. The Sunday game was the Brooklyn Skyhawks, 44. Kings Bay Panthers, 0. Queens Falcons, 30. And Bayside Raiders, 0. So that was at the Banter division. The Intermediate division, it was 4 games Saturday. Harlem Jets, 0. Van Cortlandt Titans, 13. The Pioneers, 20. And the Bronx Scorpions, 6. The Grime Academy, 14. Queens Falcons, 28. And the New York City Lions, 28. Springfield Rifles, 0. The game of the week coming up. We're going to bring the game of the week coming up for the New York League. And I'm going to say the games that's coming up. But the game of the week for New York is at the Pee Wee division. It's on the 10th, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Springfield Rifles versus the Brooklyn Skyhawks at the Parade Ground in the Brooklyn. That's the game of the week out of the New York division. We starting off with the Pee Wees. This is where to go this weekend for the New York division, where to go to the games. The Pee Wee division is on Saturday at 10 o'clock. The Bronx Knights versus Springfield Rifle at Roy Wilkins Park in Queens. The next game is Saturday, 1 p.m. Bayside Raiders against the Brooklyn Skyhawks at the Parade Ground in Brooklyn. That's 1 o'clock. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Queens Falcons against the King Bay Panthers. That's at Kings Bay Field in Brooklyn. Junior Pee Wee division, you got 2 games. One Saturday, one Sunday. Sunday game at 12 p.m. is the Bronx Knights versus the Springfield Rifles at Roy Wilkins. Sunday game at 9 a.m. Wow, that's an early game. Kings Bay Bengals versus the Brooklyn Skyhawks at the Parade Ground in Brooklyn. At the Pee Wee division, where to go and what to see. They have 1 game on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. The Saturday game at 1 o'clock, Bayside Raiders against the Brooklyn Panthers at the Gersh Field. That's 1 o'clock. Sunday is 9 p.m. Queens Falcons and the Queens Falcons and the Bronx Knights at Williamsbridge Oval in the Bronx. Sunday, 1:30, Springfield Rifles. And this is the game. This is a game everybody got to go in New York. This is the game. This is the game of the week in the New York League, the Springfield Rifles and the Brooklyn Skyhawks at the Parade Grounds in Brooklyn. That's a 1:30 game Sunday. Also Sunday at 3 o'clock is King Bay Cougars versus Greenpoint Spartans, and is at the Kings Bay Field in Brooklyn. Banter division, 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. It starts off at 2:30. The King Bay Jaguars, King Bay Jaguars play the Greenpoint Spartans at the McGrath, I guess that's in McGrath Park. I think that's in Greenpoint. Look it up. McCarren Park. Look that up. I think that's in Greenpoint. At 3:30 is the Bayside Raiders versus the Brooklyn Panthers at Gersh on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Sunday, 11 o'clock, Queens Falcons and the Brooklyn Knights at Williams Park Oval in the Bronx. Sunday at 11:30 is the Springfield Rifles versus the Brooklyn Skyhawks at the Parade Grounds in the Brooklyn. Parade Grounds in Brooklyn. The Intermediate Division, you have 4 games all on Saturday. Starts off at 11 p.m. the New York City Lions versus Harlem Jets. That's uptown, 128th Street and 3rd Avenue. There's a field up there. At 12 p.m., it's the Queens Falcons versus Van Cortlandt Titans and Van Cortlandt Field in the Bronx. At 12 p.m. also, the Springfield Rifles versus the Bronx Scorpions. Because it's Scorpions. At the Roneck Park in the Bronx. RODMANS Park in the Bronx. Neck Park in the Bronx. At 6 p.m. is the Empire versus the Grime Academy at Gersh Park in Brooklyn. And that's it. That's it with the New York League. And thank you, Mr. Garvin and the commissioners getting us this out so we can get it out and let people know. Just like I said, put the games and the highlights and the results on our Facebook channel. It's called NY4NY. And put it up there and highlight stories to let people know in the city where to go. The games of the Big Apple. So I'm sure Mike and Jay went over this Monday. So I'm just going to try to brush through it a little bit. But I'm sure Mike and Jay and Mr. Phenomenal, they went over this Monday. So I wanted to really get what's the games coming up, but it ain't coming out till tomorrow. It's on the schedule. So, which I got, and last week I was talking about. Let's do this here, cause I'm gonna get out of here, cause I got a little headache. Last week I came out with the Uncle Milt full of blank list, right? Like people got short memories, and I had 3 people that I talked about on the list. One, it was Big Apple, and they schedule conveniently North is playing a lot of D2 teams and he beating them up. Where's the competition for the North and the South? And I got a call on that. And my answer and my questions was satisfaction with what I learned, and it is coming up. It's just not me having the information in front of me, which is the responsibility of them providing the information, so I can say because I was wondering what's going on with the schedule. I'm not waiting to see no 2 undefeated teams playing in the Super Bowl, but we got a game next week, and hopefully it'll be at Canarsie High at 6:00. And please check this. You got the number 1 12U team in the city playing each other. You got the South playing the North. You got Brooklyn Chiefs in the North playing the Staten Island Hurricanes in the South at a 12U division. Everybody should be at that game, 6:00 at Canarsie. That's going to be a very interesting game because that's the 2 best 12U teams in the city. My opinion. The 2 best 12U teams in the city is those 2. And that's the game. And Big Apple, that's the game of the week. And so getting back to what I said, my question was answered. And I was told that, any questions, feel free to call me up. I'll get on the show and and explain it. So I said, wow, that's professional of you. And that's it. That's what with that case. The other case was the rankings. And what UTL is doing, which I don't understand. And what Ralph Draper is doing, which I really don't understand, is, like you're going to have everybody going to be doing rankings. You don't understand what the rankings is, what it means. And, a comment on Facebook, oh, can you come on the field and tell a kid that the rankings is BS? Yes, I could, because I would explain to them, this is the most sacred thing that everybody shouldn't take advantage of. What's going on in youth football is that, where's the independence? They say they're independent. Leagues say they're independent. But I see, when you ask a question, about something and they don't like it, they put it on Facebook. They don't call the show. They don't answer the phone. They don't answer the question, because if you call up, which the number is on the screen, if you call up and if you're concerned about what I said, you would call me up and we can have a one-to-one dialogue. That's the professional way of doing it. That's the professional way of doing it. But when you put it on Facebook and you adding all these other people in it with their comments, they don't know the story. They just know what you said. And then you put my clip, you put a clip of it on, and then you double down on stupidity, and you put it with Donald Trump. And I'm like, whoa, that's not professional. I asked a professional question. Your response to the question wasn't the answer to my question. Your question was, I never asked, is Workday going to play regionals and nationals? I never asked that question. But you feel to give me that answer. I made an observation. And I'm not the only one made an observation. A couple of people made an observation when you put out the standards. So you put out the standards, and I already know the story because I had Workday on the show. Remember, he was in Big Apple. Remember that. He was in Big Apple, and that didn't work out. I know the reason why it didn't work out. I didn't report that because I didn't think that was news. It didn't work out. Then he went back to UTL. And I know you're trying to get games. Of course, you're trying to get games. I mean, you're working. And I commend you of it. I commend you of doing, what you're trying to do. And I'm really behind you and supporting you. But I got it on this platform. I have to tell it the way I see it and the way it is. And all I asked, I said, if Uncle Milk get it wrong, call me up. Let's debate about it on this platform. And you choose to say, okay, I'm gonna put the answer on Facebook. And I'm like, okay, this is not professional at all. And it's taking on a life. People is commenting on things they don't know about, and it seems like me against them. And I don't like that me against you stuff. I'm informative. I'm independent. I'm the only free youth sports show, free press youth sports show in New York. Who else talks about you? I don't talk about you because I need to talk about you. I talk about you because what you're doing for the kids in the program, and that's what I talk about. And I told you that when you guys was in Long Island. You might like Uncle Milk one day, and then you might not like him another day. Because I'm not going to compromise my evictions on telling the truth, or telling the way it is. I'm not compromised. I'm going to critique myself when it comes to kids. But when these adults do something goofy, I'm going to say it. And just what if I do something goofy? But you didn't answer the question. You went to a national question. My question was, Workday is not going to have a playoff and Super Bowl in UTL. That was the question. And it's true, they're not. They're not. So this ain't got nothing to do with Coach Ocken and work he's doing with the kids over there. Why couldn't he go to Metro North? They got a 13U teams. Why couldn't he go there? I know the answer for that. But I'm not going to say because you know the answer for that. So you have to get games wherever you can get games. And I understand you took on a task, but when someone is critical about it, you have to be professional and say, well, yes, I did it for the kids, or I did it for blah, blah, or whatever, but it didn't work out because he's not going to have playoffs and Super Bowls. I remember last year when you had to get a Philly team to fill your Super Bowl roster. Remember that. I understand that. So we see what you're doing. Some people may not talk about it. I choose to like it's a story. But I always have the platform to you to call me or I call you, and we can talk about 3 things. We can say off the record, you can say no comment, or you can tell the truth. And I'm going to report what you say. But if you don't pick up the phone and you don't try to okay, I don't got to talk to them, because you see it, I'm not talking to Uncle Milt. So when I say it, don't go to Facebook with it. Call me up. Be professional. Call me up so the people can know what the next question is going to be. Because I'm going to have another question behind it. That's the thing. So, I made the list, and my definition of it is correct. I don't want to call nobody liars, but sometimes people be knowing they lying to you, and they be thinking you don't know they're lying to you. I just don't really care for people like that. You're lying to me, and you know I know you're lying, but you're still trying to do it. Usually I'm not saying that I'm not the one to do it, but I do say, okay, you got me, blah blah blah, because now you think I'm foolish now you think I'm Boo Boo the Fool or something. But I know that your guys couldn't respond on this platform because you couldn't deal with the next question. But you tried to answer the question, but that wasn't the answer. That was a national question. And I never addressed the national question. Everybody goes to regionals and nationals. Everybody. If you got the time and you raise the money, you go to Florida. That's how I look at it. They say they don't, but you do. You do. I was on the phenomenal Mike and Jay show last week. Shout out to Coach Jay for inviting me. We had a good time. It was a good show. Jay felt that to bring me on to bury the hatchet and stuff, and we just got to start acting more professional because we got, it's a kid thing. We at the kid level, and we got to start acting like professionals for the kids. So it was good. We buried whatever we had, and everything is good. I hope we can move on and do some great things together. I'm hoping this hiccup between my show and what UTL is doing can blow past, so we can do some great things together. I separate my personal, my personal, the way I personally think, into Uncle Milt is just a whole different. Uncle Milt is a whole different character. When I get in front of this mic and get in front of this camera, I'm a different person. I don't care about the name calling. I don't care about what people say negative. The thing is this: I have my own platform. I created it myself with my resources to do what I love to do, is youth sports. And if you understand that, you understand what we're doing here. We're not trying to destroy, we're trying to build. But a lot of things that adults do hurts the game. A lot of egos is involved, hurts the game. We don't talk to each other. We're gonna put out this meeting that we had with dynamic people in youth football. dynamic people in youth football, and we're gonna put this thing out and everything. I can't take a call right now because I'm over the limit, right? So I got to get off the air. But next week we'll be back on. Put the question on Facebook and I'll answer it. I just can't answer the phone right now because I'm at 9:30. I'm real over. So with that said, just like I said, I hope we can get these egos aside and really do work for the kids. Because I'm not trying to destroy no one. I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build for the kids. So with that said, I'll see you guys next week. God bless. Thank you for Gumby coming on the show. Thank you for Coach Hicks from Gameover. Thank you for the Commissioner Garvey from the New York League. And thank you, Tyrone Japer from the Big Apple League for giving me the information. I appreciate it. Keep it coming. The show will be going on, and we'll be back next week. Thank you. God bless.
A community fundraiser. Each of us helps one of us. Think of a community hit with an epidemic that created financial devastation, massive unemployment, housing problems, and food shortages. To help the community to weather the tough times ahead, we must pull our resources together and create a cycle of funding. A one-time resource is help required. Each of us helps one of us with this continuously cycle of support. We'll relieve the burden off of you, the individual, with the help from the community. To join our community, email us at eachofushelpsoneofus@gmail.com. Leave your name and date of birth, and we'll send you the instruction video.
To create a perfect student athlete, you must enhance these attributes: mind, body, and soul. In other words, education, fitness, and nutrition must be a part of your life. And it starts right here at the New York City Youth Sports Initiative.